Well, good morning. Had a bit of morning tea, read, catch up on the news, and today we're going to just take a little drive just around Elliston. And we've got straight across the road, we've got the jet. Wind seems to have dropped, which is good. Certainly hadn't dropped before. So, long jetty, someone right at the end. So we're going to go back on the tour side of things and just have a look. Yeah, a bit slushy stuff coming off there. So this morning we had a few drops, probably about 8, and so we've got the Great Ocean Tourist Drive, so thought we'd do that. Salmon Point, there's a boat ramp, and also Coffins Bay, Clifftop Drive and Salmon Point, so we'll have a look at that first, and if there is a Clifftop Drive, I'll take it, and you get to see over the bay. So looking over there, it looks beautiful. Yep, so I can see the walk down. Yeah, I probably could take the canoe down there actually. And so here's our Clifftop Drive, which to me looks a hell of a lot better than just a main road. So we can see the coast. Looks very much like Mexican Hat. Weird sculptures up on that one's beer keg with copper pipe insulators put around it and made to look like a spider. so somebody's been very creative. So nice along here. If they're calling this a bumpy road, they haven't been on the road. This road's beautiful. Labatt, Cape Labatt yesterday was the same. Very, very smooth, much better than we expected. One section was a little bit rough, but not that much. Yeah, so the sun's bright, certainly on the road. Here we have another attempt at a sculpture. Looks like a bird's nest and a couple of eagles, and basically at Mexican Hat I got a fantastic picture of an eagle on top of its nest, and that nest has been there for generations. So yeah, quite interesting. Sweeping waves. Interesting what they've done along here. So looking out, all the soil underneath, and then gravity takes over, and bang, down it comes. And they are big rocks. It's quite large, a lot of weight, and I can remember fishing right down the bottom of York's Peninsula years and years ago, and one of the big warnings was you can be standing on top of what appears to be perfect rock, and in actual fact it's anything but. So you've got to be really, really careful. So looking through here, we can see another headland, and the GoPro will pick that up as we go past the signage. Again, you can see right at the very point, all undercut with the wind and in multiple points. And over here, straight in front of the car, you can see a larger section. So obviously this is an ongoing aspect of the cliff tops along this area. You'd have to be really careful. And it's limestone, so when it breaks breaks without any warning, and you know, it's not like it cracks for 2 weeks and it just gives way and bang, down it goes. Looking over there, a fantastic sand hill which we saw the back of as we were coming in yesterday, and yeah, this is a lovely area. Okay, so there is a section, but I'll stay on the main road, I think, or the main track. So we can see the channel through, and there's a little parking bay and another bit of sculpture. So this one's out there with the pixies as well. Okay, so a seahorse. So this is actually Cape Finis is the name, and you've got a seahorse sitting there that somebody's made up, which is quite unique. The obligatory can up there, and very nice. A lot flatter. It appears flat. I was actually going to take the canoe out, and 29k winds is probably a little bit too much. But we can see down here just more spots that you can have a look. And the birds, they're made out of roof iron. Now from up here it doesn't look that far, and you go, yep, no worries. But when you actually are right down at ground level, it might be a little bit more difficult than that. Lovely beach. So this is Coffins Bay. Okay, shelves in nicely, just lovely. Been there for a few years. Yeah, it's a fair height. I think there's got to be a track here, and it looks like there is. There you go. So Coffins Bay we're heading to tomorrow, and we'll be staying there for a couple of days, and we're thinking that that's probably that'll be my best opportunity for canoeing. And then up a Cow is a great big Franklin Harbour, I think it is. There's quite a decent size area that we can go on, so we're looking forward to that. And or else I've been lugging this canoe round for next to nothing. So my last canoe ride has been up at Anjabakina railway bridge. Side here there's a little statuette that somebody's put up of a couple of dolphins that look rather nice. So they've got some really good stuff. So now I'm going to actually drive into town, and so I've got the historic jetty. We can come back to that. There were quite a few cars here before. There's still quite a few cars. So whether people were actually driving along there or not, I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to drive into the town. Alti looks very, very lonely on its own there, and but it's not a bad park, so we can't complain. All but a few mozzies. We left the door open with the lights on, and man, they must have come from kilometres. They were big mozzies too. So at one section there, I clubbed to death about 6 in a row that all came up near your light. So you turn the light off, put the light back on, and basically bingo, in they'd come saying thank you very much. So we've got a left-hand turn into Elliston. Sue will be happy. We've got a Caltex for filling up tomorrow, which is fine. So, and again, that's the Great Ocean Tourist Drive, which is what I plan to do. So these little short videos are only for somebody who comes to the area and would like to know just what I saw and what the general area is. Not everything. It's not a full tutorial on where to drive and where not to drive. It's just basically an opportunist type of ability. I can see the other caravan park, and it is definitely tighter, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, I have no idea what is where, so I'll just drive around. And so we've got the council chambers, the town itself, the police station, and we've got some really good artwork on some of the buildings. Looks it's been there for a few years. And Sue said, make sure you find the bakery. Well, I found the bakery, Sue, so I will actually go there, but in the meantime I should drive around and have a look at some of the sites around town. So a couple of very old buildings, stonework in repair. Okay. I said I've got no idea where I'm going, just took a road and just drove straight forward. So got East Terrace on one side. What I found is when you're the only person in the car, so there's a little bit of a holiday rental there for sale. Okay. Elliston Golf Club. That's interesting. So it's actually, goodness gracious, take your life in your hands coming in. Lovely. So it's got a 1958. So 3 years after I was born, this club was made. Gee, it's nice. Look at that. Beautiful. So the golf club, so if you're a golf enthusiast, and here's a view over the entire town, and it is nice. I'd like to get to that left hand side of the bay, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do now. And there's a couple of large rocks sticking out of the water right on the corner of the bay. We'll see how far along I can get. And yeah, it's a nice house here. It's lovely, right near the golf course. Very well looked after. It's not huge, and it's just looks sizable. Left, little bay road. That sounds like it does go to a bay, and we'll have a look there and just see. Chap doing the lawns. Bit of 60s masonry. Yeah, so nurse taking someone for a walk. There's some nice places around here. We've got South Terrace, which really all does is go south, I guess, and then we go across this bay, so we'll have a look. The area may contain asbestos, so that sounds like the old party trick that we used to do as builders years ago. Okay, if you're knocking down anything. Alright, so have a little stop in here, have a look at. Oh, it goes around a bit. It's good. So it goes right up the So some really nice spots. So it's what you find that as you go along here. A seat and another bay. So I'll go along this as far as I can go and then come back the other way. Amazing when you drive along a road, you see one side of the points and all those sorts of things, and then you turn around and come back the other way, and it's such a different view, and often there's views that you didn't even realise were there. So a worthwhile thing through here. Some really big cliffs, and you can see there's been sections that have just dropped away. Sections that not that many years ago would have stood on top of going fishing, and you know, totally fixated in the fishing bit and not too worried in the safety bit. Beautiful green area. Oh yeah, look at that, it's lovely. You can just see how the waves are fashioned all along here. So I could imagine in the wind that we had at the head of the bight, we stayed up there, McGillray Hut. It was just unbelievably strong. Into this, the waves would have been just enormous. Yeah, they look lovely. Yeah, so the road, so like any road system, I don't know, they called it, whether this is a part, obviously it would have to be part of the tourist drive, and it is quite nice. Looks like a cemetery over there on the far left, and a few scattered dwellings around the place. Looks like the pipes where they, the Gawler Ranges, where they have these columns in the actual stonework. That's what that looks like. Quite amazing. So, no through road, that one. Looks like a track. So people go, well, we'll make a through road. Wirangu, it's an Aboriginal or Indigenous cultural area. So this is where this gets to. Yep, and you can see over there the cemetery. It doesn't look like there's hundreds of graves there. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 from here. Would think that there would be more. So that's a spot. So there you can see the waves coming in and the bay. Be a great surfing spot if you could get in and out easily. Somehow or other, I don't think that would be that simple. Yeah, we've got memorials everywhere nowadays. Strange. Road does go to the cemetery. I'll just drive to that, have a look. Some people who almost make an obligatory stop to every town they go to and have a look. And so I imagine this goes to cemetery. I went to the cemetery up at Farina. That was like 1840s, 1830s. There were a couple of graves and different nationalities, a lot of Afghans, that Afghanistan people, and that was quite incredible to actually see that. I'll probably do a U-turn here, which is what we've got. We can actually have a look around. Yeah. See if my eyes are good or not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's some there that I didn't see. Alright, so I'm going to actually take a few still shots, have a look. Well, there are about 9 or 10 graves dating back to 1895, thereabouts, and some were buried but there was no headstone, possibly a piece of timber, and there's a couple that look like they've been restored by you know, future generations, but interesting. So I would have expected a town this size to actually have a pretty decent sized cemetery, so perhaps the cemetery is there's another one in town somewhere, I don't know. I'll have a look at their ritzy looking map, but the tourism people here have done a great job because they've got good maps freely available. You're not like you know, a couple of places where we've been. Oh, do you have a map? And you know, oh no, we don't keep maps. And I'm thinking, well, you know, tourism relies on information, and so yeah, quite interesting. Okay, so we've got our headlands, we're back onto that track, and Wirangu has a interesting couple of sculptures on the rock face. So along here, now we're seeing the rocks from the opposite direction, which is quite interesting. So the waves aren't bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, that's it. Does look like there's a little bit of a road or track, should I say, up here. No caravans or RVs past this point. That's fair enough. I went on a couple of tracks before. Oh yeah, so we can actually go there. Say that. So here's another spot that you could pull in, and what do they call this? Little Bay Trail. And you can see some. So that point was lovely. Quite a lot of features that you could actually see through there. There was a mitten, thousands and thousands of seashells, so obviously at low tide they get some seashells, and it's all been broken up over many years because it was right all over the entire point, which was quite progressive. And another track down there that just goes down bit closer, but very nice. And then we come to housing all on the front, all looking over the bay. Perfect spot, really. Just a great spot to stop, and I guess you could actually walk down here. A couple of decent boats, bloody whoppers. So really nice, very nice little area. Yeah, big fences, just your typical shack sites, big and small, all different types, and then you've got your access down to the beach. A bit lumpy, but this side you'd expect that because you're getting a lot of wind blowing across the bay straight down, so that's quite interesting. A cul-de-sac, and at any given place you've got no worries working out where we are because we're just right by those silos up there, so that's pretty easy to find. And yeah, we've got a couple of spots through there, so it looks like it just keeps on going. And there's a gentleman lighting a fag, and anyone who used to smoke knows that they hate smoking afterwards. So I was 25 years of age when I stopped smoking. It was the best thing I ever did. I'm now coming up to 66, and imagine what my lungs would be like had I smoked all that time. So it's an interesting place. Of course, I'm getting some good looks, mainly due to the fact of camouflage, which they shouldn't actually be able to see. They shouldn't be able to actually see the camouflage at all if camouflage did the job it was supposed to do. But it's lovely through here. So I've got an order to go to the bakery, which I will do. Looks like every man and his dog is going there as well, and then we'll go back and have some lunch. We'll see. Looks a good spot. There's people